Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube video on port forwarding. Very simple, I'm going to go over it, I'm going to walk you through it, and generally I want to say that it's three things you need for a proper port forward in my opinion. You need the program or port opened in Windows Firewall, you need the port opened in your router, also known as your default gateway, and you need a static, well, you need to assign a static IP address to your local machine. That's what we're going to do. So first thing, we're going to do Windows Firewall. You can see I have it open, control panel, all control panel items, Windows Firewall, and I generally do advanced settings, so it makes it easier. We have inbound, outbound, connection security rules monitoring. Well, if we look at monitoring, we can see active network, the firewall's monitoring, firewall state, it's on. Inbound connections that do not match a rule are blocked, which means we need an inbound rule, and outbound connections that do not match a rule are allowed. Okay, so we only need one rule. So we're going to do new rule. I generally use program. You can use whatever though, even predefined. Although we're not going to do that. We're just going to use program. We're going to specify where the program is. Just going to do a random one. We'll port forward Game Ranger. We're going to allow the connection, and we want domain, private, and public. A couple things. Domain, probably not going to use unless you're on like a corporate network or you're using Active Directory. Private is most likely your home network. When you first connect to a network, Windows will ask you to specify it. You most likely selected private. Public would be like, a public location like an airport or a coffee shop or something. You can just leave them all ticked if it's not something sensitive, like if you're just hosting a quick game server for a friend. That's, gotta name it. Word. Wow, I think I spelled that wrong. And we forwarded it, and then you'll see that it is there, it is enabled, and it should be good. Okay, so we have it set in Windows Firewall. Now we need to access our router. And generally your router IP address is 192.168.0.1. That can change though. It's dependent on how you set your stuff up. So here's how you find it. You open up command prompt. You can do Windows R to run. You do cmd.exe and you type in ipconfig. Now you might not have all these adapters. I have virtualization tools, so you can just kind of ignore that. But we're looking for my primary adapter. It's wireless LAN. Default gateway is 192.168.0.1. So now we got to navigate to that using a web browser. Load. Oh. Now we need a username and password. I know my router password. It's a really simple one. I'll post links to a couple sites. You can maybe find yours. Sometimes your ISP blocks them or disables them and doesn't allow you to log in. If they do that, they're a shitty ISP, in my opinion. Okay. So now we can forward the port right now. It's not. You can do port triggers. I wouldn't recommend that though. Sometimes they're called virtual servers. Sometimes they're called port forward. In my case, on the Eris modem, it's called virtual servers. And oh yeah, you can see I've already forwarded a couple ports. We can add a rule. We'll call it Game Ranger. For format, it's asking what protocol. If you don't know, you can set it to both. That's fine. I'd imagine most people watching this would be doing games anyway, and a lot of times you need both. As a note, you can, and depending on the router configuration, you can specify ranges, which is useful for, excuse me, for a number of things. Like once this actually adds, I can show you. Yeah, but see, it's, this is forwarded to this LAN IP address. But, so, like IP range is like, if you notice my Baldur's Gate stuff, you need all these ports open. And for older routers, you might have to enter them one at a time. Yeah, no, but it's not the 90s, so we can just do them as we see fit. Now, another thing you need to do, if you are going to be hosting this for a long time, most of the time, if you just, when you set up your network at home and you just leave pretty much default settings, you're probably going to be using DHCP, which means your LAN IP address will not be static. It won't stay the same. It'll change depending on the lease time. And if you're just hosting for a couple of hours a game, that's fine, but you can probably just static it. It's generally under, in a router, it's generally under LAN setup, not WAN setup. WAN is wide area network, LAN is local area network. And you generally don't want to mess with these settings unless you know what you're doing. Like don't mess with NAT mode, you'll mess things up. But so we can click DHCP because we're interested in the DHCP server right now. If it'll load, come on, okay. And you can see it'll show the clients on your network. We have my laptop. We have a printer. Gives you the MAC address, tells you the type, it also tells you when it expires. Oh. As you can see, my laptop I'm on right now is not static. It's not a fixed DHCP client, as this router software calls it. This, though, my home server is. And what you normally need is you need a MAC address and the IP address that you want is static. So it's pretty simple. I'm not going to static mine, but I mean you can see, you can get the MAC address from here, or you can get it from ipconfig. Wait, Ken? Okay, no, you can't. It's probably an additional option. I probably messed up, but that is pretty much how to port forward, and it's really simple. I have noticed most people seem to forget the Windows firewall, but it's okay. Any questions, concerns, stuff I didn't go over, let me know.